Welcome you all to this webinar. Kuldeep Singh, Kartiga, Srinath Bhai, Dhanasundaram. Right, good. Thank you so much. Dr. Pranesh Prakash, Professor Viju. Okay. Swati, Sagar. Welcome you all. Thank you so much for being here. Right, so we'll start the webinar, and I welcome you all for this webinar, positioning you as a scientific research expert and turbocharging your career. Okay, so my name is Asirya Samuel, and I work as the director of aristocratresearch.com. This is a unit of Aristocrat IT Solutions Private Limited. So we will be communicating through the, I have two laptops in my desk, and I'm watching all your comments. Welcome DDS Disanaya from Sri Lanka. Right, so quickly we'll move on to the introductory phase of this webinar. I would like to know from which part of world you are connecting from, and how do you identify yourself? Can you type in your place, and how do you identify yourself, like a researcher or a scientist or a author, a teacher, a professor? How do you identify yourself? I'm just going back to the comments. I'll just read it out loud. Student from India. Can you please type in? How do you identify yourself, and where are you from? Undergraduate, Bengaluru student. Karthik, welcome. Microbiologist from Chennai, Kartiga. Research scholar and educator from Karnataka, Srinath Bhai, welcome. How do you identify yourself? That is the question we are dealing here. Can you all please type in from where you are located? Right. So currently we have 56 people in the room. We are expecting more people to join. Graduate of Form D from Andhra Pradesh, Ahmadi. Professor G.K. Viju, welcome, please. Right, so there are many learning people are here. Right, so I have power packed this session. Okay, so I have actually crammed a lot of information, and I would like you to take snapshots wherever is required. Right, so these are all general instruction. Be seated. Okay, so I want you to sit in a place and focus on what is on the slide. Right, so we are going to talk about a very important aspect of today, which is least considered aspects of a researcher, which is about positioning you as an expert, even though you are many of the researchers are very well versed in their subject. They are very obscure to the world, they are hidden to the world. So this webinar will take you outside of the cocoon, and if you implement these steps, what I am going to talk in this webinar, you will have extraordinary results in the world, and you will be highlighted in the world. Right, so before proceeding this, is my audio clear? Can you I would like to have the audio clear comment, or simply type in clear if my audio is very clear to you. Thank you, David. Clear. I'm receiving many clear comments. Thank you so much. Right, absolutely clear from Altaf. Thank you, Altaf. Right, so pay more attention to this. This is one of a kind of webinar which is not have ever happened in India. Right, it's kind of a blend of business branding along with exposing your research expertise to the world. Right, so I would like you to be patient till the end. Okay, missing any moments will not bring the flow of the what I would like to say, or what I would like to diffuse, the knowledge that I would like to diffuse. You will not have any connection if you miss any slides, or if you are involved in any other works. So all I would ask is to pay attention. Right, so how many of you are committed? Can you type committed to be in this webinar? Can you type committed? I would like to see how many of you are committed to learn. Karanya, thank you. Salma, thank you. Ahmadi, thank you. Kartika, thank you. Right, so Thank you so much for your commitment. You can take notes if you are willing, or you can take snapshots, right? So in some of the slides, I'll be skimming through the data. I'll not read the entire slide. So I'll ask you to take snapshots so that you can ponder upon it later. Since we are all learned people, you will know what is meant. Okay, Sagar. Welcome, Sagar. Sagar has a critical situation, yet he is attending the webinar. Welcome, Sagar. Thank you so much for being here. Right. Right. So this is a public presentation. So I would like to start with the disclaimer, right? So bear with the time. It is mandatory, right? So Aristocrat has no competition with anyone, or no knowledge competition with any of the learned professors, learned universities, highlighted research organization. We don't have any connection with anybody. We are an independent research pedagogy organization. And whatever we are teaching here is verified and tested. We have our uniqueness in our research guidance in India. We are operating from Chennai, the south part of India. You can visit our office. You can Google our location. We are a very legit organization with numerous qualified employees working here. Okay. So this is a disclaimer I want to say. And what we actually do is we are an external independent research pedagogy or consortium where we attract talent pool from different parts of the world, and then we solve the research complexity that is otherwise not personally solved or professionally solved with your peers or superiors. So such kind of people approach us, and we help them solve the issues through a handpicked qualified people team. So this is we are 50 plus in our organization. So we have actually patterned and decoded the complexity in all research domains. Say, for example, we use the acronym STEMALL. STEMALL is science, technology, engineering, mathematics, arts, management, humanities, and language. Okay, so we create novel concept for you, research proposals for you, literature review, research implementation, thesis, and synopsis for you. So now I would like to ask you, from which domain are you from among this STEMALL, science, technology, engineering, management, arts, humanities, and language? Which domain are you from? Can you type in the Q&A box? Q&A box is where I am seeing your comments, and that is where we are personally connected. So you can put your comments. If it is a lengthy question, I'll look it up afterwards. Okay, so we have people from science, agricultural science, management, humanities, software engineering, microbiology, management, good, biotechnology, life science, good. Right, so a brief introduction about Aristocrat is all you need to know. We had very humble beginnings. Before a decade, probably around 2010 and 11, we had very few people, and now we have a handful of people, intellectual professionals working for us. And these are some of the pictures I would like to show to you, that this is the environment I'm currently connected to you. This is the office from where I'm talking to you all right now, right? So we are located in this address, which is in the top right corner. You can have a snapshot. You can Google our location. You can visit us whenever it is possible, right? We have a very friendly environment. You can come and talk to us about your research problems through webinars like this. Every week there is a webinar happening in every Saturday. Every Saturday evening, we have webinars happening, and more than 1 lakh people so far after the lockdown. Nearly more than lakh of people have gained knowledge through this webinar, and more than 25,000 plus PhD completed across the world since 2008, since our inception, right? Making us one of the pioneers in the industry. Still, we are trying to improve our methodology and in serving the researchers. These are some of the mentorship moments I would like to show you, where we have conducted a lot of in webinars and seminars across the globe. See, these are some of the moments from that. And if you wish to conduct some of the seminars and webinars for your organization, you can contact in the number given below. right? I can see many of you are affiliated with universities, right? Many of you are doctorates, professors are here. It's an honor to serve you all, right? So you can approach us. We actually spread knowledge. We are a knowledge diffusion company. That is all we do. Okay, so we'll move on to the webinar. So I'm of great service to you today. I'm very, very grateful to talk to you in this webinar. And this webinar has 5 parts. This is one of the important slides. This is like a map of this webinar. There are 5 points actually. We will traverse through these points, right? So the first thing is about authorship or expertise. PhD is not broadening up or learning everything. PhD is like specializing in certain field, which is narrowing down of experience. I hope, how many of you agree to this? Can you type I agree comment? Can you type I agree? It's not about narrowing. It's not about broadening up. It's not about studying everything. It's studying about the particular thing which you can show your expertise. So the first part of this webinar will focus more on the authorship. It will focus more on the publication. It will focus more on your desires with related to professional expression, right? So the second part will deal about exhibiting your research, which most of us researchers don't do in our day-to-day life, and we are pushed into obscurity. We are hidden, even though we are very talented. We are hidden. Many of the job opportunities are not coming to us. So that is the place where the second part of the webinar will focus on how you will get into the world, showcase your presentation, showcase your research to the world. The third part of this webinar will showcase how you will be recognized, and if you are recognized in the world, how you can, what are the things you should do. And fourth part is about building your community, building your network, right? Your rapport building, and engage in activities which will take you across the globe, which will make you famous, which will make you a resource person across the world. And the last part is what should you do, right? What should you do, and what can we do to help you through Aristocrat in that way. In that way, you will evolve as a researcher throughout your life. This is a career trajectory. Am I audible to you all? Yes. Thank you. How many of you are with me throughout this presentation? Up to this, how many of you are with me? How many of you are following me? How many of you are understanding me? Can you type with you comment? With you. With you. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Swati, David, GR Karunya. Thank you so much. Right, so these are the 5 points we'll be talking to you. We are going to talk in this webinar. And I'm going to talk to you about 3 problems we have, right? 3 big problems. 3 big problems actually for a researcher, right? So, one of the main impediment that we used to get in this journey is our own qualification. Many people, many researchers who are very well qualified cannot fit into the status quo, cannot fit into the job market, cannot fit into the entrepreneurship world, right? So there is a very big problem associated with the expertise problem. How many of you can resonate with me? Can you tell yes, I or I? How many of you are resonating with me? You will have all the expertise, but you will not have a good position to fit into the status quo, right? So this is I'm going to talk about some 3 problems today. Okay, so that will frame the basis of this webinar. And if you can take the snapshot, you can ponder it upon later. Okay, so problems, we all have the same problems as researchers. Some people who are not very educated as you, not very well qualified as you, are earning a lot of money, but you are unable to do. In that way, you are unable to cope up. You are unable to fit into the system of how the world operates. So we will find solution for these through these 5 points through which we will traverse this webinar today. right? So keep putting your questions, Q&A. I'm always concentrating on the comment box. That is the way through this webinar we can communicate with each other. So keep on typing what is your comments will not be visible to anybody else. So we are having a personalized experience here. Okay, so you can type in whatever things you want. Only I'm seeing these comments, and we can communicate through this webinar, right? So moving into this expertise problem. How many of you are ready? Type in ready. We will move into this expertise problem. This is a huge problem especially for scientists, doctorates, very well learned people. These are serious issues. Can you type in ready? I'm waiting for the ready comment. Yes, thank you so much. Lot of ready comment, right? Right. So some of you might disagree for what I say when we move on through the slides, but most of you will agree. This is not a problem of agreement or disagreement. I'm talking from the standpoint of market. From the job market, from the research market, in terms of career trajectories, right? So we'll move on to this expertise problem, right? So first hard truth, the first problem lies is, even if you have a good CV, very good CV, a lot of renowned research publications and an academic PhD, it's a hard truth, but you will not learn in a great career as per your fulfillment. There is a huge gap between your qualification and your hearty desires, that is your fulfillment. This is the first problem. I took this slide from the internet. There is a word, these are the words I would like to read. Having a PhD does not mean that you are entitled to a good job. You are going to have to work hard to get a job, just like everyone else. You must network, get referrals, ace interviews, aggressively negotiate salaries. Stop thinking about that you are above the process. Stop thinking other people owe you a job since you got a PhD and no one owes you anything. This is, many people will, probably resonate with this. Some might disagree, some of you might disagree, but having a PhD entitles us into certain things, and this is a major impediment or hindrance in our career trajectories. Many people even avoid doing PhD for the same reason. They think that they will have a very big block in their career trajectory. How many of you agree to this? I would see how many of you are agreeing. Can you see type in I agree comment? Thank you, Kuldeep Singh, Karthik M. Seenath. Right. Many of you are agreeing. There is a load of comments. Right. Good. Right. So these are some of the statistics I would like to show to you. Mostly in the world, these are all world statistics taken from Royal Society, Nature Academy, Nature Biotechnology. These are all reputed journals. You can check this in the internet. This is taken from the internet. 60% of all PhDs end up unemployed because of the fulfillment problem, which we will be talking about in the next slide, right? So they are not satisfied with their job, so they end up in unemployment, even though they have good expertise, right? So the second thing is about the postdoc. They sacrifice considerable amount of time in their lifetime, 6 to 10 years across multiple postdocs, and it is taken from the Royal Society. This is a real statistic. You can check it. PhDs who do postdocs make less money and achieve less overall in their careers compared to PhDs who do not do postdocs. That is a statement taken from Nature Biotechnology. Full-time professorship are at an all-time low because they are being replaced by low-paying adjunct professorship. These are the facts we can literally see in India. Right. Okay. So when you in the job market, if 1,000 people are seeing your application, 250 people are submitting the application, taking action, and they are only the 60 get passed through the application tracking system, ATS, and then the interviewers, and then the offer comes. So it is your duty to be the one to persuade the recruiters and researchers from other fields to be the one, right? So so these are some of the reasons. These are some of the reasons where our expertise acts as an impediment or block to get into positions. This is just to bring you an awareness. This is nothing about right or wrong. This is to bring you awareness. Many jobs require more travel. Many jobs, many people, many researchers, they feel that they want to be in the top 10% of the positions in their field, and field work, visual position. They seek. They are in demand of the in-house position. They are in demand of innovation position, commercial position, numbers heavy position like data analytics job. They want to deal with numbers, and some jobs require the high intensive writing. So these are some of the things you should be aware of when looking for a career opportunity. I'll be talking about there are variety of options for PhDs and postdoctoral fellows, and even for scientists and published authors. So this moves to the next problem, fulfillment problem, right? So fulfillment problem is this: even though you are earning money is paramount, a fulfilling and soulfully rewarding career is what you deeply desire. How many of you agree to this? When you look for a career after your study, after your intense study, publication, you have different means of studying, contributing to the society. You would like to have a soulfully rewarding career. Like, if you want to be in a teaching position, you'll have to dedicate yourself in the learning of others. Mentorship position. How many of you agree to this? Can you type in the agree comment? How many of you agree to this? We understand that money is important, but then the next big thing is about fulfillment, right? Right. So we want to create more impact, more readership through our publications, more nobility. We want to, as a conscious being, we would like to constantly evolve, constantly grow, and continuously improve. That is what the Japanese principle of Kaizen says. We will have to continuously improve. Right. So this is what we human beings desire, and this fulfillment is attainable through positioning. Positioning by doing positioning, by exposing your research, by exposing your expertise, by coming from obscurity to obviousness. Right. So we'll talk about that. The third problem we are going to talk about today is about positioning problem. Right. Even though you are an expert, there are many doctorates here in this webinar. Professors are here. Even though you are expert, you need to stand out by branding your expertise. Previously in the previous year, say for example in 1980s, if you do a BE, you are branded. There will be one BE or one ME in a street. Now we have 3,000 BEs and MEs in a street. Right. So we are lost in the noisy crowd. That is the point here. We will need to brand your expertise. That is of paramount importance in 2021. Right. So even though you are an expert, you need to stand out somehow from your peers by contribution to the society, by contributing, by teaching, by mentoring, by entering into beautiful positions in great industries. You will need to stand out by branding your expertise, and this webinar will take you through 5 processes. If you do all these things, or if you take help from us, in a period of 6 months, probably you will stand out from the crowd. Right. So these are the 5 services I was talking about. I'll go through once: authorship, announcement, recognition, rapport, and action, which is to establish your expertise first, exhibit it next, and attain excellence next. Engage with your community, and then evolve through that community by contributing. Right. So we have come to I'll just recap the first part, what we have done. We spoke about the first problem, where even our expertise will be a problem to us, and we'll talk about the solution for that, and the fulfillment problem, and then the positioning problem, right? So we will have a short break now. So 2-minute break or 3-minute break. We'll come back by time in my system is 7:25. We will start by 7:28 sharply. A 3-minute break, short break, where you can register for the upcoming webinar next week. That is August 7th, right? So it will talk a lot about research public. It's a workshop. It's a workshop. It's a very successful workshop. You can visit our website. I'll just type in the URL for this in the comment box. You all can register right now, and I'll catch you up by 3 minutes. This is the first break, right? We'll have one more break later on. How many of you are with me? How many of you are committed still till the end of the webinar? I would like to see. How many of you, can you say, I'm committed, I'll be till the end? How many of you are assuring me? Your comments will give me some energy. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Karanya Salma. I will be. Yes, Hamid, thank you. Kartika, Kaviya, right. So now I have posted the comment. I have posted the URL. You can click that URL and register now if you have not registered previously. And then I'll meet you by 7:29. 2-minute break, a short break, right? Thank you. Right, I'm back. How many of you can hear my voice? Are you all ready? So I have posted the upcoming webinar link. It's a workshop. It's a research publication workshop. It talks about the secret to quickly get your research paper published. Yes, and for the latecomers, we are slowly diving into the webinar. We have 5 parts of the webinar, and we have just finished the premise of this webinar. Right, so please, it's not over yet. The webinar is still happening. Right. Right. So we are moving into the first. How many of you are ready for this? We are moving into the first phase of this webinar. Right. We are moving into the first phase, which is about establishing your ready. Just type ready if you are ready. We are going to talk about these 3 things. Okay, researcher attributes. Attributes means characteristics. There are certain characteristics you will have to embody as a researcher. Right, no other go. A researcher has some certain particular attributes which we will talk, and there are so many career options after a PhD or masters or postdocs for experienced people. There are many people in the crowd. I would like you to interact with me. Keep the comment box, Q&A box active. I'm just looking into that Q&A box. That is the only source where we can communicate in webinars, right? You can type in your Q&A, your question. We will try to answer you then and there, right? Okay. So this is the first part. And when the first part ends, I'll give you a cue. Okay, you can understand, okay, this is all about the first part. So you can actively take snapshots and you can learn later, right? Since for the want of time, I'll be going a little faster, right? So researcher attributes. And the first thing is about your expertise and authorship, and it comes through your accomplishments, right? So the first of all accomplishments in your research career is publications. How many of you agree to this? The first and foremost accomplishment after your master's or after your PhD is publications. How many of you agree to this? Right. Thank you so much for your comments. Good. Right. I'll tell you, right, if you don't have the first accomplishment, the others will not bring any meaning to you, right? So, I took this concept, publication patents from LinkedIn, right? I'm showing you the exact snapshot from LinkedIn. You can check this in your own LinkedIn page. You go to the accomplishments, page. You can see the first of all listed is publication, and under that you can see list your published work and get found by 7 times more. Get found 7 times more, right? So if you have publications, that is an international credit, right? That is an international credit, and people with publications will be recognized more. So that is about your expertise in general. If you don't have publications, you can approach us. You can approach us and we can help you with that, right? So we have a separate services for that with regard to publication. So first of your accomplishment comes from your publications and patents. How many of you are having patents? If you are a doctorate scientist or a published author, if you have patents, that is a valid criteria in the future, in the career market. I'm not telling about job market. I'm talking about the career market, where you will get fulfilled careers, right? It can be entrepreneurship, it can be digipreneurship, it can be mentorship, right? Yes, Sagar, I agree to your comment, right? So a lot of things you can see. This is an evidence from LinkedIn where they require your publications first, right? So as the this slide says that transferable skills. Transferable skills mean non-academic skills, the people skills. After PhD, even though you are technically very fit, right? So many of the jobs that will come to you, many of the career options. Say for example, entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is totally based upon transferable skills. How much of skills that you can transfer to your team, how much of skills that you can transfer to your colleagues, peers, right? So I'm going to talk a few of the transferable skills. I'll go a little faster. You can just snapshot whatever is resonating with you, right? How many of you are ready to learn about this transferable skills? Yes, ready. Right. So the first and foremost skill is about project management, right? So as a PhD or as a researcher, you will have to juggle with a lot of things. You will have to juggle with a lot of things. So project management. There are so many methodologies in project management. One of the best methodologies is Agile management. Agile. How many of you are aware of Agile? Say yes in the comment box. Say yes in the comment box. How many of you are aware of Agile methodologies? Yes. Yes, thank you. I'm receiving many yes. If you are not aware, please note these words: agile methodology, agile research methodology, or agile project management. Right. So in the jobs in the industry, these are all the skills. These are the transferable skills which will be required in the industry. You will have a stand in the industry if you have these skills. Right. Project management, regulatory affairs. Every industry operates as a bus. There are wheels, there are drivers, there are passengers. You will have to. They are going to a place. There are a lot of departments there, right? So you should have regulatory affairs, regulatory awareness of the affairs that is happening in these departments. As a PhD, as a topmost person in the profile, in the qualification profile, the industry expects such kind of skills from you, from researchers, even though they are only technically very skilled. Relationship building, right? So everything in the business world is about people. So we call this as people skills. Speed of learning. I have seen many people in the jobs. They say that I don't know this. Right? It is not about not knowing. It's about your ability to learn fast, the new concepts, adapting to the new concepts, trying out, failing, and then succeeding. How many of you agree to the speed of learning? It is it provides an edge in your career, right? And then strategic planning. There are more than one ways to do anything. Right? So strategic planning goes like you bring new ideas for execution. In the job market, or if you are a mentor, or if you are an entrepreneur, after your research career, there is a lot of strategic planner. You should be a strategic planner to execute things. And teamwork and collaboration, it is self-explanatory. You will know this. Time management. Time management is essentially your pain management, right? How you deal with your emotions. Probably in the future we'll have a special webinar on this. Regarding your productivity, regarding your flow experience, how much you are willing to involve in the work that you are doing. So time management is essentially pain management. How you take care of your emotional pains. Are you giving up with regard to pains in your emotional life? So this is a very big skill that will be helpful for many people. So you can take a snapshot of this. This is just a gist of all the skills: adaptability, budgeting, client facing, commercial acumen, conflict resolution. In teams, this is a very big issue. You should be a problem solver in the teams. Entrepreneurial mindset. Entrepreneurship is all about the mind. It is not about the position. It is not about the money. It is about the mindset. You can call yourself researchpreneur. Research itself is driving with technical confidence to defend your thesis. Yes or no? How many of you agreed to this? Research itself is like defending the thesis, right? It is like protecting your own idea. It's an entrepreneurial mindset. Industry trend awareness. What is the trend that is going on? You will have to play with the status quo then and there. And leadership skills. In all-time wonderful skill is a leadership skill. Leadership, it's not about leading. It's about being the servant. It's about serving. Leadership skills, servant leadership, negotiation skills. Many people, they ask money, right? Instead of projecting how much they can contribute and how much they can project with the value. In the job market, they say that I'm expecting this much, which is not going to work out, right? In the job market, it is this kind of negotiation. You should expose the skills that you have, and in what way you will be of useful, in what way you will bring value to the organization or to other people. That is about negotiation skills. And organizational skills, juggling with many departments, people management, problem solving. So in a gist, these are all the non-academic skills. And with these are the skills, 95% of soft skills, this is going to take you to different places. right? When it comes to HR, onboarding is a very big skill. Video interview, giving video interviews, public speaking. These are some of the hidden aspects. Thirst for knowledge. These are all deep-seated. What do you say? Aspects, right? So thirst for knowledge, you cannot study a book and get these kind of skills. Thirst for knowledge comes from your soul. You constantly in search of new ideas, constantly in search of new books, right? So thirst for knowledge, which is a very, very big skill, which is very, very uncommon in the general population. Researchers should inculcate these kind of things, right? So insatiable inquisitiveness, that is the next skill I have put. It's like childlike curiosity, always being in asking questions, taking up new projects. If you're already in a job, you should be open to many positions. You should be open with the higher management. Simply it's not like doing the routine job daily. It's about thirst for knowledge and inquisitiveness go hand in hand. And innovativeness. Innovativeness is like how you can improve the process, how you can improve the concept, how you can improve the efficiency of certain things, the effectiveness of certain things, right? So that is about innovativeness. How many of you are following me? Can you type I follow? I'm just curious, how many of you are listening to me? I'm keeping on talking, right? We have 60 people in the house now. Right, so innovativeness. So these are the things you should cultivate. There are no books for this. It should come from your soul. It should come from your deep heart. Only if you think this intrinsic change can bring some external changes. All these things should happen in your heart, right? And then flexibility with others, adaptability in operation, right? So focus is the greatest of all treasures, right? So we have upcoming webinar which we will communicate to you, which is totally about focus and productivity, right? So how much are you distracted with your small things like notifications, right? If some notification is coming, if a WhatsApp notification is coming, it's popping on your mobile, immediately you go to there, right? So where is the focus? If you're working on some project and then a WhatsApp message comes, are you master of that small notification? That is the question I want to ask you, right? Are you master of that small notification? That is a distraction, right? The opposite of focus is distraction, right? So it doesn't provide any traction in your action, right? So focus is about the bigger picture. How long can you do some deep work? There is a separate webinar coming for this. We have so much to talk about this. This is a very important transferable skill, focus. How much can you focus with the current work? And analytical ability. Now we have so much of sophisticated tools like Python, data science tools, and many other tools, right? So collaboration with other people, presentation, that is communication, right? So great researchers need to be great communicators through your research paper, through your writing. Words have powers, words have ancestors, right? So where you pull the words, it should be plagiarism free and it should be effectively communicated in your research. So these are all skills. We have so many levels of communication skills, right? You just cannot say that till death we can be learners of communication. That is how powerful it is. How many of you agree to this? Communicating a research paper, communicating through presentations. These are all the DNA of researchers. How many of you agree to this? That is where our, defending the thesis, presenting in front of a panel. This is where all of our skills will lie, and you will meet with a lot of failures. And how fast can you get up from your failure? That is about perseverance. In simple terms, you can call this as not just giving up. Right? There are thousands of video on this on YouTube, but in the researchers world, failure is a day-to-day activity. You communicate a research paper and they reject you. right? You present to something to your supervisor and he rejects you, right? Objection is a part of researcher's life, and if you cannot persevere, you will not go anywhere. I'm telling you statistics. Okay, there are only 3% of PhD students who can successfully complete the research. Out of 100, only 3 people are passing through the research works. That is how low the percentage of success in research is. So just imagine how much of perseverance you will have to put in, how much of difference you will have to put in than the normal population. You just think about these things, right? So these are all skills, really. That is what this first part of webinar says. And then comes your integrity. People easily manipulate others. People easily manipulate their data. They tell lies in their research communication, in their publication. They do manipulated data. They publish manipulated data. They go through backdoor publication. They give money for publication. These are all examples of non-integrity. At Aristocrat, we focus a lot on integrity. We handpick people who are integral with us, with our values, with being the alpha, being continuously learning and improving the focus. That is what we focus on. And as a researcher, by your moral, you should be very, very integral with your research. You cannot lie in your research. You cannot cheat on the research. You cannot cheat on anybody. You have to operate on sacrificial grounds to show your leadership, and this is all about integrity. How many of you are listening to me? Can you type I? I would like to see. I'm just keep on talking. I just type I, come on, I'll be happy. Thank you so much. Amrit, Shakshi, David, thank you so much. Right, many of the names I have missed. I'm watching you all your comments. Right. So integrity is very, very important for researchers. Okay, so when you go to a job and people, based on your qualifications, they have a high regard for you with respect to anything, any commitment. When you enter a job, it is a commitment. When you quit a job, it is a commitment. When you enter entrepreneurship, it is commitment. When you train somebody, when you mentor somebody, everything is commitment. Right? Everything is mental agreement. That is where we stand, right, with integrity. Right, so mostly spoken word is passion. I'm not going to elaborate on this. You all have passion for research. That is the reason you are even listening to my voice. Right, foresightedness. What happens next after 3 years? Where am I going? Seeing far. This is a quality of a leadership. This is quality. What will happen to your next month, next week, next month, next quarter of your year, next halfly, next annual? Where are you going? How are you improving financially? How are you projecting yourself? Or are you saying excuses like, I have so much of work to do today, so I cannot think about tomorrow? It's about foresightedness, which is an important aspect of any researcher. And finally, we come to authorship, right? Communicating the paper. Being in the social media. We have the power of social media now. We have many platforms to express yourself. Everything. What I'm doing now is in the public domain. I'm talking to people whom I do not know. I'm taking authorship. I'm publishing my mind right now. Right. So research publication is one way. Communicating to the journal is another way, and recording videos, posting in social media platforms. I'll be talking about some platforms later. And being active in LinkedIn, contributing to your own research community. Say, for example, if you're a HIV researcher, you contribute to that community. If you're a cancer researcher, you contribute to that community. Right? So that is about authorship. Authorship is about authority. It is about authenticity. It is about being vulnerable. You will be faced with a lot of comments and critiques throughout your career. Right? When you take authorship on certain things, it is the highest form of leadership, authorship. Right? So these are some of the skills for PhDs, which some of which we have discussed in detail. And okay, this is slide you will have to take a snapshot. Okay. So these are some of the these are some of the positions available in the industry for a PhD or a master level enthusiast, career enthusiast. There are so much of opportunity, so much of options available for people with research flair. Okay. So how many of you have snapshotted? Can you say I? You can Google about these are all keywords. I took this from the internet and LinkedIn most probably. You can Google these words in the LinkedIn. You can see how much of organizations are looking in the lookout for you. Right. We'll move on to the next. This is the second thing. R&D scientists, principal scientists, senior scientists. All these things are for the people who are already published at least one paper. Right. As I told you in the previous slides, the basic requirement for anything, even LinkedIn demands that is publication. So if you are not, if you're not a published author, I would suggest you to contact us in regard to that. Right. Right. So the first thing is entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship and research goes very hand in hand. In entrepreneurship, the first thing you do is write a business proposal with a novel idea, and in research, the first thing you do is write a research proposal with a novel idea. Both are same, right? So entrepreneurship and research goes hand in hand. The second thing in research you do is literature review. The second thing you do in entrepreneurship is do market research. You see if that idea is viable. If your minimum product, if your minimum valuable product is viable in the market, right? So, and the third thing is about methodology, how you are going to execute it. Everything, the research methodology and the entrepreneurship methodology literally goes hand in hand, and it deals with different data. Say, for example, in research, you will deal with getting grants or getting funds, and you present something for that to some bodies, to some scientific bodies. The same way in entrepreneurship, you seek investor relationship to make them invest in your business. You pitch in your idea, you sell your pitch deck, and they are interested in your profile. The same goes with research also. In grants, grants, seeking grants, writing for grants, government funding, writing for government funding. So all these things are most probably same. How many of you are able to understand what I say? Probably if you're a professor or an academician, you will honestly agree to this. We all came from that background, and this is what is happening in this researchers world. How many of you agree to this? Yes, I'm receiving the agree command. Good. Dhanasundaram, thank you. Seenath, yes. Right. So you can see how much of responsibility you will have to take as a researcher, right? Right. So we have completed only the first part of the webinar, authorship or expertise. These I will just recap these things from the beginning, and then we'll move on to the second part. Right. So in this part of this webinar, the first part of the webinar, I was talking about the researcher attributes. What are all the skills that you actually need to possess from your heart? And then the career options, I have asked you to snapshot, and you might have taken. And there are so much of skills that we have started. We started with project management, accomplishments as publication, regulatory affairs, relationship building. I'm just quickly going through this to bring back your memory. Okay. Spoke a lot about integrity, passion, foresight, authorship. We spoke a lot about authorship, skills for PhD, and industry positions. Right. So these are the 5 services, and we have completed the first part. The first authorship expertise part we have finished. How many of you are finding it useful? Can you type I? Can you type I in the comment? How many of you got something out of this? out of what I'm speaking. Now, if I'm even able to serve 2 or 3 people, I'll be very grateful today. Thank you so much. Amrit, thank you for your comment. Amrit says, I strongly. Thank you so much. These kind of comments makes my day. Right, okay. So again, we'll have a 2-minute or 3-minute break. I would like you to channelize all of you to the next webinar also, which is on August 7th. Can you please register now? Thank you so much for investing the time with Aristocrat. Okay, thank you so much. When I say thank you, it comes from my heart. Please follow. I'm posting the link. You can follow this link and you can quickly register, and we'll be a part in the knowledge diffusion. And then we'll move quickly to the second, third, and fourth and final part of the webinar. Can you hear me? I'm back. Right. If you are with me, can you type with me comment? With you comment, please. We could proceed for the next. Next is a very important segment. With you, thank you so much. I'm receiving some comments with you. Kartika, thank you. Dhanasundaram, thank you. Karanya, thank you. Right, we'll dive into this slides. Okay, we have some network issue here. One second. What is the slide that you are all seeing? Can you just type it? We have a lag. Okay, it comes. Right. So if you have, the first thing is you should have expertise. Right. The first thing is you should have expertise. There is no qualification is not going to bring anything. PhDs will not. It's just a degree, and the acumen that you will have is very different thing. Right. So the first thing is you'll have expertise, and then if you have expertise, the second thing you can do is exhibit that expertise. It is of paramount importance very, very important these days to brand, to position in your niche, right? So for example, I am serving researchers. That is my community. All kinds of researchers: science, technology, engineering, management, arts, humanities, language. I am serving all those research. To whom you are you serving? Say for example, what is your research field? It might be a field of biology. It might be a field of technology. It might be a field of engineering. In what field are you engaging? That is where your exhibition has to happen. We'll talk in detail about that. We'll talk about the target audience. We'll talk about target branding. It's not about telling the whole world that we exist. No, it is not about that. It is about telling the specific people that about your specific expertise. That is the first part. We spoke about expertise, and the second thing is to exhibit your expertise. Right. So many of you are saying that the link that we have provided is not working. Don't worry about that. Just visit our website. Just Google Aristocrat Research. You can find our webinars there. Right? Don't miss it. You can spread the word with your colleagues and peers. Bring more people. In that way, we will be also benefited to serve them, and then they will also have their problem solved. Right. So moving to the next slide. Announcement. Announcing your expertise, exhibiting your expertise, branding and positioning your expertise in your specific niche, which is your research community. Right. So now, can you all type? In what way are you serving? Don't say biotechnology. In biotechnology, what you do? In power electronics, what you do? Can you just type in what you do? In what way you are serving the world in the research to the research community? It can be COVID research, it can be HIV research, it can be cancer research. Can you type in the specific antibody research, which is good? There are many science people, life science people are here. Good. Cancer research, Shakshi. What is your research? Can you type it? Breeding for sustainable agriculture, crop variety. Great. Solar power hybrid inventor. Good. Anandi. Okay, good. Management is a general term. Major. What is your specific research in what is very specific, very pinpointed arena where you will contribute your expertise? That is digital agriculture, which is very fantastic. Digital agriculture. Good. Service marketing. Good. Educational quality management, Professor Viju. Thank you, Professor. Okay, so these kind of things, right? So what should you do? What should you do to announce the world? That is going to be the second segment of this webinar. Right. So some people, some researchers are very hesitant. Why should I do it? I publish papers. I have a very good job in a university. Why should I publish? Why should I do certain? They will not ask why should I publish, but they will ask that why should I propagate? Why should I brand it? Why should I make the obvious? Right. So there is something called as obscurity. You are obvious expert. You know that, and the enemy of your obvious expertise is your obscurity. You people are hidden. These expertise are hidden. You might be very big figure in your university, but the world doesn't know that yet. Right. So a lot of people are in the world is big, right? A lot of people have to find you, read you, apply you, cite you, right? So that is the very purpose of branding. There is no stigma associated with branding. There is no stigma associated with announcement or positioning yourself as an expert. The only byproduct of your establishing as an expertise, as an expert, is some people are going to get benefited across the globe. How many of you are agree to this? How many of you agree to this? If you establish yourself as expertise to the world, if you announce your presence, if you announce your existence to the world, there will be a lot of readership, there will be a lot of citation for your research, right? How many of you agree to this? Type I. I'm waiting for you. Yes, thank you. Right. So this is done to increase your, I'm just answering the why part of this webinar. This is done to increase your readership, showcase your publication, to do research communication, to make a global impact on your audience. When I say your audience, it is about your research, right? It is about your own research. Personally, I am working as a director of this company, and I am dealing with people day to day, but my actual interest is in cancer informatics. I'm basically a biology background candidate. I used to learn a lot about this, but it is not. My community has changed now. My community has become somewhat broader in sense and global in sense. Right. So when you communicate your interest, it becomes your audience expands. Right. So I cannot be very strict with the life science people. I have so much of researchers to handle now. I'm very grateful for such a opportunity. I stepped into this world before 10 years, and then every day becomes very different to serve people, right? So global impact is it's about your audience. It's about your willingness to serve whom. Create digital portfolios, and then link your publication and data and presentation together in a platform. And the best platform is website, right? And promoting that website. Right, so mark these words. I'll talk about these website development for researchers in the coming slides, and we are specializing in that. We are helping researchers in promoting themselves. I'll talk about a very important slide in this webinar. It will be in the third part of this webinar. So showcasing your research to a global audience and track readership. There are so many analytical platforms. Google is one. So you can see who all are reading your publication. Maximize your article's visibility, promoting your article, monitoring your article. So how many of you don't have a publication yet? Don't even have a publication. Say I in the comment box. Probably professors and doctors in this audience will definitely have publications. But then if you have publications, you will have to promote it. That is very important now. So there are so much of people saying, if you don't have publication, that is the first thing you will have to do in your entire lifetime. Now this is your critical moment, right? Right. And, see the word reputed journal. I have received a comment. I have publication, but not in a reputed journal. Okay. I'm answering for you. Okay. So the reputed journal has a lot of readership, right? This is the word. So to increase your readership, if so many people needs to know you, you should be in the public domain. You should be in the public domain. You should be in the reputed journals, right? So there is no excuse in that, right? So there are so many ways to promote it. And the first thing is you can take a snapshot of this screen, creating an effective academic personal website with all what you know, with broadcasting your website, with information, everything about it. It will act as this website, yourname.com. Okay, that is the best website you can have, yourname.com. And it can have all the links to your publication in the future. If you people who do not have publication, just utter the word www.yourname.com. Tell your name and just say, if people are typing that, or if people are reaching you through social media, they should be inaccessible with your entire mental resources, right? That is the gift to the world that we can give. That is the gift of qualification. That is where we put all our education and learning into place, right? So social media coverage, citation growth. So these are some of the good platforms that you can put your expertise in, right? So my first preference is in LinkedIn, right? So LinkedIn, how many of you have explored LinkedIn to the depth? not for job searching, not only for job searching. You can do a lot of things with LinkedIn. You can search your community, you can search your specific audience, you can search your, you can network with people, you can attend conferences, you can do learning, you can attend webinars, you can attend courses, workshops, you can apply for patents, you can do a lot of things in LinkedIn. How many of you have, I'm not promoting LinkedIn, I'm just telling you, how many of you are, we just beg for jobs in LinkedIn. Some people, I have seen many people begging for jobs in LinkedIn, but it is not the right way to do LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn has one liner. It talks about your expertise. Every feature of LinkedIn is to brand you to the next level, right? So it is not only about job searching. The least of all LinkedIn activity is about job searching. There are so much things, so much of fulfillment things happening in LinkedIn. Yes. So I would urge you to, some people says that I only have an account in LinkedIn, right? So there are so many levels in LinkedIn. You can explore that. You can choose one platform where you will be encountering whatever we are speaking, right? So to showcase your expertise, to broadcast your expertise, to even earn your expertise. Say for example, Pinterest, you can publish your graphics. Facebook is different, but still you can use it for professional networking, right? So website is one. You can just snapshot it. These are the tabs you can put it on your website. You can make videos, you can make graphics, you can write blogs, and then you can tell people that to invite you for the to invite you for talking in the talking to your community. Say for example, I'm talking to you now. I make my own advertisements and bring people here, disseminate some knowledge, whatever I have, right? So these kind of things, expressing yourself and seek mentorship. Through websites, you can talk to your supervisor. You can talk to some book author. You can send your website. By sending your website, you are actually sending your entire mental portfolio. This is all you do it professionally. This is all you have learned. This is all is your qualification. Everything you are just sending to other person. It becomes a powerful mediator for communication. And you can put your publications page, projects page, researchers profile. That is your profile. Writing summary of research, whatever you have done in layman terms. You can put your summary of research. You can put your paper links so that the reader can go and read anytime. You can write video explanation. Literally, the options are endless, right? So I have put a premise for the second part of this webinar, announcement and exhibit, right? So how many of you understood what I defended? Just I have answered the why you should publish. Why should you announce? I'll just put a summary, and then we'll move on to the third, fourth, and fifth part of this webinar. Right. So basically, to increase your readership, showcase your publications. If you don't have publications, you are still in the first place. But it is not bad to know the second, third, and fourth part of the webinar. It is going to be a lifetime education, right? So these things are your roadmap, right? So creating digital portfolio, because we are all digital creatures now. You have to be online, right? So global audience, track leadership, get noticed, have a website. If you don't know to develop a website, you can approach us. We can help you with that. We do this as a service for a period of 6 months, and we charge for that, which is a very professional charge, which is a high-end service in Aristocrat. You can approach us in the number given below. It takes 6 months for you to establish in the online presence. Right, so we move on to the third part of this webinar. How many of you are still with me? I hope listening also begets fatigue. Some of you may be tired. How many of you are willing, and how many of you are with me? Thank you so much. Thank you. Right. So once you do the do all the branding stuff. Once you are online, right? So do you think everyone is going to follow your YouTube, follow your Facebook page, follow you on LinkedIn? No, nobody is going to do that, right? So only only upon persistent activity, it takes a lot of perseverance, and even to bring 50 people to a place in online, it takes so much of effort, right? So some of your comments are saying that I'm willing to have a website. Okay, right, you can approach us, we will also approach you. We will have a good beginning from there. Okay, right. So next comes your recognition, right? So propelling your excellence, what are the things you should do? You can just make a note of it, right? First of all, exhibiting alone doesn't work. You will have to mobilize your research. You will have to network with people. You will have to tell people to see your research, measure. You should project yourself as a thought leader in your arena. This word is important. Thought leadership, right? Thought leadership in your own arena. If you are good with people, you should strive for more goodness. If you are good with HIV research, cancer research, whatever research, electronics research, propel yourself in that arena. That is called as recognition. In that way, you become the industry leader. It takes several years. It takes 5 years, 6 years, 3 years, 10 years to attain excellence. It doesn't happen on your own. Nowadays, people with 2 years, 1 year experience, they think that they have so much of excellence and experience. No, they are just just offshoot. 1 year, 2 year experience people. There are so much of things to learn, and that falls into recognition, excellence. Research is such a field where you will get matured in terms of years, a lot of years, right? So. Okay, so this moves to the next slide. If you ask the entire webinar, which is the important slide, I'll tell you this is the slide that you will have to know, right? I'm not going to explain anything here. I'm urging you to Google these things, right? I'm urging you to Google these things: LinkedIn profile, ResearchGate, right? Mendeley, vitae.ac.uk, buffalo.edu, academy.edu, PLOS channels, ORCID, right? So if you even concentrate on one thing in this slide, I would say ORCID is the thing, right? If you can develop your ORCID after your publications, that will be a very big thing in your research career, research feat, right? So how many of you have taken slide, snapshots of this? This is the most important slide of this webinar. Okay, some people are encountering network issues. I'm learning from the webinar. How this comments. How many of you can able to hear my voice? Can you say audio clear? Can you type in audio clear? Okay. Can you see the slide, the platforms? Can you see the slide, the platforms? Yes, it's clear. Thank you. Okay, can you see the slide, the platforms? Okay. Right, okay. So this is the important slide of this webinar. If you can Google this, these links will take you to a very different, very depth platforms, very deep platforms where you can enter your details. If you want to help in these things, we do this as a service. We do this as a service. How many of you are understanding? Can you say I? Can you say I in the comment box? We do this as a service in Aristocrat for researchers, and you can approach us regarding, yes, thank you, Professor Chokalingam. Thank you so much. Yes, Okay. Right. So certain things you will have to put in the platforms and in your profile is about layman summary. People generally read your web pages or your profiles or your resumes or your CVs in a manner of skimmability, approachability, and intelligent layman leadership. They don't go word by word. They just skim everything, right? So if you write blogs or podcast, or if you communicate in the YouTube, you'll have to remember these three steps: skimmability, right? So how many we will agree, right? We don't even see many YouTube videos at a stretch. We just fast forward or skim. Yes. And approachability, basically when you read a resume or CV or a cover letter, you basically see how they are approaching you, right? And general in the general terms. So putting your research in layman terms is a very important thing. So blogging, podcasting, YouTube is a way to communicate your research. And Scopus author ID, you can take a snapshot of this page. Important stuff: citation index, H index. How many of you are with me now till this point? We are going to, probably in 15 minutes, we will just end the webinar. We are in the last phase of the webinar. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you, Amrit. Some people are really getting the idea. Good. Right. So next is, these are all simple illustrations to showcase you about the global impact of your research creates engagement. People are going to search you. You will get a lot of opportunities, a lot of opportunities unfolding, right? I'm not telling it is opening, it is unfolding, right? So something which is hidden to you will be revealed to you. Drives your research to be communicated. Communication creates growth in your careerhood and mentorship. Many of the professors here can agree with the word mentorship. They don't really look for careerhood. They are totally in devoted to teach others. That is one excellent and highest form of education, to teach others selflessly, right? So communication is the parameter that will take you everywhere. And we are moving to the fourth part of this webinar: rapport or engage, right? So doing all these things, then you will have to talk to other people in a professional way, to engage them, and that happens through writing cover letters, powerful cover letters. This is a old school technique. I don't know how many of you are aware of cover letters. In Aristocrat, I take a lot of interviews on a daily basis. 60 to 70 resumes I juggle daily, and I seldom see some resumes. But they don't even simply they send the resume, but very rarely I see cover letters which really communicates heart to heart of why they are seeking the job, in what way they can contribute to Aristocrat. I really get impressed about such people. So cover letter, even though it's an old technique, writing cover letters when you are communicating to some other professional, when you are looking for a job or looking for a leadership position or an entrepreneurship position, everywhere communication is important. Everybody has a cover letter. Everybody should have a cover letter, and it covers all aspects of the CV. The cover letter is like a token that will open up your entire stuff, whatever we have spoken from the beginning, right? Your portfolio, your profile, your web and social profiles, LinkedIn profile, asking for network referrals, everything, it works. And you can take a snapshot of this slide, which is very important. These are the writings. Words, as I said, words have power. You should write your research highlights gist. You should develop infographics, research insight poster, investor pick deck. If you are looking for funding, if you are looking for entrepreneurship funding, research funding, grant writing, all these things are and micro video of your 2 to 3 minutes of your presentation of what it encompasses. Right? So there is a comment. What are the important things we should mention in a cover letter? Right? So open up your heart. There is no format for that. Right? So if you just type a cover letter for PhDs or research scholar, you can get a lot in the Google. It is about mainly communicating heart to heart, what you can contribute. Right? It is not a platform to express your financial interest. Many cover letters, many substandard cover letters have demands. I'm demanding 7 lakhs of salary per annum. Can you give? That is not the way to interact with any professional of your stature. If you are a researcher, that is not how you contribute. Money comes as a byproduct of whatever you do. Whatever you contribute, money comes automatically as a byproduct. And slowly, this is a very big insight, but slowly people get into touch with this throughout their professional careers. After they get 15 years experience, 20 years experience, they write soulful cover letters. Right? So there are no formats for that. You can write whatever you want. And the best writing, the best words that you will get the right reward. And if you have problems in writing cover letter, which is a powerful form of communication, cover letters, research highlights, layman summary, infographics, research insights, pitch deck. You can, we are here for that purpose only, right? So we do it as a product. We call it as strategic positioning for researchers. We have a beautiful team to do that. These team members are especially trained and will be trained for that, right? So don't worry about things. You can approach us for this, right? So as I told you earlier, everything, people are not going to read word by word. It should have skimmability. Your writing should have skimmability, particular line spacing, headings, subheadings, everything should be there. It is an intuitive process. Right? It comes from the heart. That is why I call it as intuitive process. And then it should be very, very intelligent to expose your real intelligence. Right? So these are the research outputs you will highlight in your writing. Take a snapshot of it. You all know this already, right? Everything is very, very acquainted to you. Take a snapshot. How many of you are finding this webinar useful? Say aye. You are all very silent in the comment box now. Yes, type something. Type your feedbacks. I'm just watching the comment box always. That is the way I interact with you. So you can just type, how do you feel also? If it is boring, I can make it good in the next presentation. If you are getting something useful, you can type it there, please. Right. So research outputs, these are the research outputs: technical report, audio, video file, authored book. Right. So authoring a book is a very high form of showing your expertise. Chaptering, writing a chapter in a book, conference, attending conference. We have a slide for that. So this is an example of a website, example of a researcher's website. You can take a snapshot. Right, I'm just showing you the example. Right, if you do all these things are going to happen. Maximize engagement with you. The community is going to seek you, right, and accelerate impact for your research. Jasna Rani Behra, thank you for your comment. Thank you so much. Right. Amrit also, thank you. Some people are very involved. Thank you so much. Can you hear my voice, all of you? Okay. Can you hear my voice, all of you? Yes. Thank you. We have some network delay. Okay. Right. So we'll move on to the very important slide. Next very important slide of this webinar. Okay. So you can take a snapshot of this. This is this is a very beautiful paper written for researchers. It is in the public domain. You can search as personal branding positioning for researchers. Right. So I'll tell you, there are nearly 5 ways of projecting your brand. Right. So after my education, I chose to be an entrepreneur and I wanted to pursue business, right, which is a very, very hard path. Likewise, you will also have certain personal goal. You can see the first line of this. Right. Can you hear me? We have so much of delay in the process. Yes. Okay. Right. Right. So something is strategy based. For example, there is a way to do business. There are so much of ways to do business. There are so much of way to expose yourself. Some people are so explosive in their leadership. They shoot videos. They post it everywhere. Some people have very hidden leadership. It is all about your own personal strategy. Right. So personal branding is that there is no separate way for that. There are so much of ways to do personal branding, and there is no one way to do personal branding. Some people are very capable. They go to places, they master in their expertise in their field of activity. They bring awareness. They talk to many people. That is capability based positioning. Okay, and the third is differentiation based. They have a very separate path from the competitions. They project their uniqueness in their branding. And some people are very audience based. There are female entrepreneurs who will only serve for female population. There are people like that. There are fitness people, fitness entrepreneurs, fitness researchers who are very dedicated only to male fitness people. So that audience based. Okay, so you can choose your path, especially based on your own desires, and performance based, behavioral based. There are so much of you can just Google personal branding, brand positioning for researchers. So you can land up on this. This image is taken from that paper. Right? How many of you are with me now? We are about to end the webinar. We are in the final part of this webinar. How many of you are with me? Can you type with me, with you? Yes, I. Thank you. Right, thank you. Right, so impact is driven by engagement. When you engage with people, when you engage in your community, we are in the third phase of this webinar. Engagement is always driven by communication, and communication is driven by Aristocrat. We can help you, right? We can help you communicate your research and increase your reach, maximize impact, simplify your reporting, save time with us, right? So broaden your engagement, target audiences. You can reach target audiences. We are good in branding for researchers, and we can improve your funding success. We can create you portfolio websites, LinkedIn profile story, professional portfolio, all these things. What we have spoken. Conference skills. Why should you go to conference? It is about networking, right? So we can guide you in that also. Right. So we'll go on to the next small break. We'll have a 2-minute break. Time is now 8:34 in my system. Right. We'll come back by 8:36. Right. So this image, what is your current need? That is the question I want you to answer in the comment box. If you can answer in the comment box, Q&A box. Someone is asking, where is the comment box? Q&A box is the comment box where you can ask questions and put your statements. Okay, so these are some of the products of your research: title selection, research paper or review paper, data analysis or implementation with certain tools, thesis or synopsis, plagiarism reduction or proofreading, journal publication, post presentation, all these things. If you anything that comes to your mind, Just type in and we'll come back in 2 minutes. And we are moving to the last part of the webinar. Right? So this is the last break, 2-minute break. I'll come back and you can type in. Right, I'm back, and how many of you can hear me now? Some people have informed me and left. Good. Medical emergency. Okay, good. Right, we'll move on to the next part of this 5 services, 5 points that we are discussing now. And we are moving to the last part of this webinar, is to take action and evolve. Right, so these are the 4 steps. Right, so first thing is about exhibiting. You have to showcase and you have to plan your strategy. Right, in what way you are going to expose yourself to the world. Right, there is no one way. Right, people might say that you should go to YouTube, you should go to Facebook, you should go to LinkedIn. Don't trust anything. Trust your inner guidance system. Right, trust your inner intuition. In some platforms, you will resonate more. You will attract audience more. It is not about the audience. It is about you. Right. Right. So when you plan strategically, you will have to take some actions, and it results in better results. Right. So if you write profiles, it is not only for job searching, it is for awards, fellowships, references, publishing, grants applications, public speaking, consulting, leadership. If you have a profile, you can use it for several things. You can put it in your website. You can use it in laptop, in LinkedIn, laptop presentations. If you now you can do webinars. You can simply use it and use it across a wide platforms, right? So you can take a snapshot of this. Visit the websites alone, right? Prospects.ac.uk, open.ac.uk, vitae.ac.uk. Right? You can visit this website to see how they have published the academic profiles there. Right? You can also publish your academic profiles in these websites. These are all globally attracted websites. Right? So professional summary should be having 3 parts. Quickly we will go through this presentation. You can take a snapshot of this elevator pitch. Right, what are you really helpful for the audience? Right, when it comes to research, in what way are you helpful to the research community? That is the elevator pitch. Include your most relevant technical skills. Say for example, if you're good in Python, if you're good in statistics, if you're good in data analytics, if you're good in MATLAB like tools, include that. Include your most relevant soft skills. If you're good with people, some people are very inherently good with very soft and very yielding with people. These are the people who will change the destiny of humanity, right? So if you have such kind of skills, you can highlight in your summary itself. People are, many organizations are in lookout for people who are very, very valuable to other people, right? So you can write the professional summary like that. I have put 3 sample professional summaries. I'll read the second one. Okay, effective and confident science communicator, both oral and written, making complex scientific concepts accessible to audiences of various backgrounds, thereby engendering trust. See this trust and respect. It is not a technical skill; it is a people skill. Okay, so you can see even in 3 sentences or 2.5 line, people are able to communicate who they are. Okay, outstanding soft skill allowing for the development and maintenance of professional relationship with key opinion leaders, KOLs at University A, B, C, and Hospital C. Accomplished neuroscientist with 10 years of experience. You can just analyze these words. Are you able to write something, in 2.5 sentences for you, for yourself, right? That is the question here, right? And if you are unable to proceed with these words, juggling with these words and language, we are here to help you. We will help you, right? You can approach us, right? So these are all some of the examples. You can take a snapshot. I'll wait for 2 or 3 seconds, right? So you can quickly snapshot this. All these are from the internet. Okay, so this is LinkedIn for PhDs. You can use these 9 techniques for in your LinkedIn profile. You can think of your LinkedIn profile from the employee's point of view. Use keywords. Some people use creative words. No, there is no use of creative words. Use the keywords that the algorithm understands, that you can it will showcase your profile to the other people. And focus on the professional visual center. It's in LinkedIn. If you're in LinkedIn, you will come to know all these 9 points. How many of you are getting some benefit out of this webinar? Can you say I in the comment box? Don't go silent. I know it is exhausting. It's nearly 2 hours. It's good. We are coming to the end of this webinar. So this is a sample profile. Quickly snapshot. You can Google. This is from Google only. You can search in Google, researcher profile, right? This is how your profile should look like, and these are the words. You can use it in everywhere. You can use it in website. You can use it in LinkedIn, Facebook, everywhere, right? So if you can provide us with your full name, role, qualification, photographs, selected publications, so we can expand the visibility of you through these media. That is where one of our expertise lies with Aristocrat. I'm talking about Aristocrat. That in that way we can help you. These are from the old slides. I'll quickly go through these slides. You can we write blogs for you. We literally do everything for you. It's called as do it for you services. Doing it for you, right? So you can approach us with relevant to all these slides. So want of time, I'm just skipping many slides, right? So these are the 4 things you will have to showcase. First, you should have a publication for anything to start, and then you plan strategically whether you are going to be a mentor or you are seeking some industrial profiles, and take action and get results out of it, right? So this brings us to the last part of our slide, right? Shoot your questions now. So this slide is going to be till 8:55 or another 10 minutes or 9 o'clock, say. Just put a hi in your to this WhatsApp number. You can save this number as Aristocrat. You can save this number as my name also, Sam, Aristocrat. I have a beautiful team who will attend to your queries. Put all your questions there, right? And we will have, for people who are still with us, there are actually, one second, there are actually 50 people now in the house. We will send you the slides. We'll send you the recording of this webinar after editing it. Okay. So talk to us about professionally positioning you as a research industry expert so that you can excel in your career and also be of service to the research community. So shoot your questions and my team will be very happy to answer you in the coming week. Tomorrow we are on holiday, and tomorrow, day after tomorrow onwards, we will try reaching you. And put your feedbacks also. Put your feedbacks in the comments. Save this number and in the WhatsApp and put a hi. We'll communicate to you. Just some people are very hesitant to talk. You can just type a hi chai hi, right? So you can just a hi, and whatever is your requirement, we are here to help you. And put your feedback. And some of you are saying it's a very good session, right? I'm very grateful that I am of service to you. Right, so I have prepared this webinar for a very long time. I have condensed all the issues, all the matters that I have learned, and many of the things I have not even told. Also, some things I have missed due to want of time. But in the coming webinars, we'll cover all those things. Thank you so much for your time. You can shoot your questions. The session will be open for another 15 minutes. Just shoot your questions. We'll go through the comments, and we will look out for the messages in the official WhatsApp and talk to us. Right? If you want to reach to me, you can reach through me through the team. You can. I'll be ready to talk in a particular time with you. We'll be joining hands. Thank you so much for the time. Good night, all of you. Okay.